from downtown.
This is his business. He has to do his stuff for Manchester United.
Well, that is the genius of Leo Messi. Olympic record, Michael.
Good morning and welcome to Daily Sports on SLBC with me, Abdul Kabir. And coming up in this session, Leon Stars trip to Dubai, so much controversies around it, and also we turn our attention to the 2022 FIFA World Cup. These are more stories that lined up in today's edition. But with me here is our very own Rabia Tumasari. Welcome to the spot.
Thank you very much.
So what do we have in today's menu?
Parliament has summoned key stakeholders in charge of the country's football activities to answer to quiz regarding the 51-man delegation that travelled to Dubai. The lawmakers are requested by Parliament to submit
relevant documents regarding the trip to Dubai. And also in the international scene, we will be talking about the 2022 historic win, the World Cup win for Saudi Arabia against Argentina. I would say Saudi Arabia, they flipped an historic win indeed. They pulled to an historic win, one of the biggest shocks in the history of the World Cup against Argentina, as they defeated them by 2-1. We saw the pronouncement of a public holiday in the country, and things are really shaping nicely for Saudi Arabia after the historic win. We'll take a short break, then we'll join you after the break.
Drives it low under the wall.
This is Sports Updates live on SLBC.
Welcome back to the Sport with me, Abdul Kabir.
And I am Rabia Tumansari.
Rabia, let's first and foremost look at the story that has to do with Manchester United and the agreement of the team and Cristiano Ronaldo that will be departing in January. Having spent some time with the team, historic moment with the team, he won so many trophies and he guided the team to major milestones in terms of football achievement. And I would say what an end of an era for a football star. He was a stellar performer, and Cristiano Ronaldo will be dearly missed.
Of course, I know his fans will surely miss him, regarding the fact that he's very popular and loved by so many people in the world. And in as much as football is loved by everybody, and him leaving the team is very shocked to many of his fans, and I am sure that they are surely going to miss him, and Manchester at large are going to miss their most loved footballer.
How best will you remember Cristiano Ronaldo as a footballer? You've been a fan, you've been following Manchester United, and a team with such a massive fan base world over and including Sierra Leone. How would you miss this individual player?
Looking at the fact that he's been loved, I also personally love him, and we're actually going to miss him in the whole football arena, and I also wish him well, because we don't know what's next his possible adventures. So I wish him all the best, and sure he's going to be missed.
Well, not just Cristiano Ronaldo, the team also is up for sale. According to the Glazer family, they are putting the club also up for sale potentially. And things are not going well for one of the biggest football clubs in the history of English football, Manchester United.
This is really shocking, looking at the fact that from how far they've come, and coming up, hearing this today is really a shock news to everybody, especially the fans of Manchester United. I'm sure they are really going to miss the entire team, looking at all what they've done over the past years.
The achievement and what's not. They've won the Champions League, Premier League, the Carling Cup. To name a few, in fact, they've won almost everything in football. They've won almost everything in football, and for a team with such a pedigree. And the issues are too many for United at present. But so far, in terms of progressing, they've made some significant strides, like securing the signature of key players. Okay, so continue to stay with us. She is Rabiatu Mansari, one of our very own here at the SLBC, and we're discussing Manchester United, Old Trafford, a name that rings a bell, and also a name that many will resonate with deeply in terms of the achievements of football. The Reds, Manchester United, they've won almost everything in football and a host of other things. And Cristiano Ronaldo, being a stellar performer, will leave the club in January. That is according to an agreement they've reached, and in principle as well. So for fans watching the show, you can also join the conversation. You can text your message to the number on screen, and we'll gladly read those text messages as we carry on with this program. And also we take all the stories into this program as well. The issue that has to do with the senior national team Leo Stars, at some point we'll have a guest to comment on the decision of the Parliamentary Sports Committee to extend an invitation to the key stakeholders in sports, that is the Ministry of Sport, the National Sports Authority, and that of the Sierra Leone Football Association, to respond to certain queries regarding the trip to Dubai. And shortly we'll join the studio guest as we want to have a complete bite on that story regarding the national team Leon Stars. So I could say, if you tune into programs, including for our very own here at the SLBC, we've been discussing about the national team Leon Stars and the very many problems that surrounding the Dubai trip, and including the former president of SWAS Alpha Jabari has been so vocal, and also our very own Francis Bernard. In fact, he dished out a press release condemning that particular trip, and also requesting that they mount up an investigation for key players to be investigated regarding that unannounced international friendlies. Now we've been joined in the studios by a seasoned sports journalist, Abdul Alex Conte. Abdul Alex Conte, thanks for joining us, and it's a pleasure to have you in the studios.
Thank you very much.
Alex, what more do we know about the Leon Stars saga, the Dubai saga, so to speak?
Thank you very much. Had it not been for the blessings of the fourth estate, otherwise known as the journalists, this thing should have been continuously in limbo, meaning putting the people of this country in doubt. And just on that, the people of the country, they were expecting friendly matches, but not in short a manner the way it happens. 2 weeks back, we discussed something about that. They held a meeting unknowingly to the journalists, especially the sports journalists, unknowingly, and those are the people who had the barrier between passing the information of sports in this country to the nation. But we are totally, we don't know, I don't know how to, the adjective I want to use in this, but as it is now, I think the three parties, they have been summoned to Parliament. They need to, and we are expecting that.
Let's go back to the match itself. Was it timely, the friendly match they played in Dubai?
Before talking about being timely or not, we are they prepared? Because we don't know. Nobody knows. All what we know, we are expecting friendly matches, right? Ahead of 2023. But especially this, it started well, the first friendlies, they were well prepared, they were well informed, but as it, you have now, at the tail end of it all, they said, not even the team, the capital team was played, because that's why I want to call it.
The team B.
They played to be, they did not. Even that team, it was what? It was a manage. They were not informed. And if you get the side of the FA rep saying that, the FA and the minister, letter, no letter, helter skelter, and coming to the number, and all those things, meaning the proper coordination was not there.
Okay.
And until the tail end, to me, it's like they were just say they don't want to go and come back, because thinking of the per diem that was expected to them, if they say having reached there, they come back without conducting any play, it would have been a more problem for them. But thank God they were someone for them to explain why this all happens.
Okay, continue to stay with us. Is Abdul Alex Conte, seasoned sport journalist. We're going for a short break, then we'll join you after the break. I'm Abdul Khalif.
Charles.
Business is business. He has to do his stuff for Manchester United.
Well, that is the genius of Leo Messi. Olympic record. Mike.
Welcome back to Daily Sports with me, Abdul Kabir.
And I am Rabia Tumansari.
We're going for our next story, Abby.
Parliament has summoned stakeholders in charge of country's football activities to answer to quiz. With us in the studio, we have Eric Fomba. Hello and welcome, Eric.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, SABC. Good afternoon, viewers.
So mostly the media and sports fans are informed prior to matches related to this. So this time around the routine changed. Why?
Well, you would have to understand that in economics, we have what we call division of labor. As we sit here as a presenter, you have producer for this program. The producer is not presenting. You have reporters who did the package for you. And so at the end of the day, the program comes out to be very good. So in management, of which football is no exception, you have division of labor. Who does what, as to when it should be done. The NSA has no point in time put out delegation list to members of the public. The media would attest. It is basically and primarily the responsibility of the Sierra Leone Football Association. They have been doing that. So that question should be better posed to them as to why they failed to do that this time around and not the NSA. It's not our responsibility.
But as ministerial unions, I think I'm working under the Ministry of Sport. I think it's it's the discretion to also look into things like this.
Which is why you have administrative procedures. You do administrative procedures behind the scene. You don't go public. Administratively, you have to write letters. You ask them questions. You summon them to meeting to explain why a paradigm shift this time around, why things they used to do with members of the public have been used to, and this time around they fail to do that. Administratively, a lot of decisions taken at SABC, you don't communicate it on air. You do it behind the scene, and then you wait for the result. So, not that the NSA or the ministry is not working, but we have administrative channels and administrative procedures. So you have to ask them by way of writing letters to them, by way of calling them to meeting, by way of dialoguing them. Not necessarily that you have to go out to members of the public as part of administrative procedures.
So now tell us the role of the NSA.
The role of the NSA as per the Act 2017 is to ensure we regulate, we supervise, we monitor, and we promote sport and sport-related activities across Sierra Leone. Basically, that's the role of the NSA as per the Act.
You mentioned supervise and monitor, so you don't think you're supposed to supervise and monitor this particular friendly match?
Which we did. Who told you we did not do?
But I asked you earlier on and you said that's not the role of the NSA.
It's not the role of the NSA to issue out press releases. Kabia knows that as a sport journalist who have covered all sport activities. He knows that. Like I said, again, you have to understand that when it comes to football, it is the Sierra Leone Football Association that runs and organizes football across Sierra Leone. It is not the NSA that organizes football for them. What we do is to ensure we provide the enabling environment. How do you provide the enabling environment? For example, you make sure the playing facilities are there. Through government, through the Ministry of Finance, they give them money like what we did for the female league, like what we are coming today again for the female league. That's how you come in. But when it comes to the day-to-day activity, remember, there is this clause, if I would say, third-party interference. And when you get third-party interference, you start the risks to be banned as a nation. We cannot afford to go to that level after the government have injected so much into sport in this country. So when it comes to division of labor, it is the SLFA that runs, they own, they run, they organize football activities across Sierra Leone. It's not us.
Eric, let me come in, and for Sierra Leone, the bashing has been announced from various quarters of society regarding this friendly. Many are saying the friendly was unannounced, and also the arrangement regarding the friendly itself was not properly coordinated. So what would you say as someone that works for NSA?
I would share the sentiment of Sierra Leoneans, the way they think. They're thinking, I know their concerns, they have genuine concerns because the national team of Sierra Leone is the property of Sierra Leone. But all of us cannot take care of that property at the same time. Hence, the Sierra Leone Football Association are in charge to look after the day-to-day management. And again, it's also important that when people are talking about Leone Star all over the country, it shows the kind of interest, the sentimental and emotional attachment they have for Leone Star. Now, if you are saying the friendly match was not properly organized, I will say no, that's not the case. Before this friendly match, remember we played a couple of friendly matches. The first one we had was in Morocco, 3 teams. That was South Sudan, Gambia, and Morocco itself. The second friendly match was in Turkey against Comoros Island. The third friendly match was also in Turkey for the Italia Cup, where Liberia was there, Togo was there, and Congo Brazzaville was there. And the fourth friendly match was against Bafana of South Africa and Democratic Republic of Congo, or whatever, I just can't recall it offer, in Morocco as recently. We also have to know that this is the very first time Leone Star is playing competitive friendly matches that is entirely financed by the government of Sierra Leone. Yeah. Now going back, just to do a retrospect, all of these friendly matches I have highlighted the same procedure, the same level of communication which we receive from the Sierra Leone Football Association. Like I said, they are in charge, which we received from them initially, for which we went through those friendly matches successfully, was the same channel of communication which we see for this one. So for example, I will tell you, we started receiving communication for these friendly matches on the 13th of October, requesting for government financial support for 2 international friendly matches as part of FIFA Windows calendar to be played in Morocco. And on the 17th of October, we receive another correspondent from the Federation talking about the same friendly match. And on the 31st of October, we receive another document speaking about the same friendly match. Now, you as a sport journalist, I will tell you for free, if the FA had gone to make all the necessary arrangements and then they come to the NSA and the NSA, there is no money for that, I know for sure the journalists would have cast the blame on the NSA, quote and unquote. But SLF, you don't go make one for Lola go play friendly match for let the test the team when I say money on day. So what we did as a way of, like I said, as a way of, how do I call it, part of our responsibility in the act, which we have to we promote sport. How do you promote sport? You encourage people to participate. So looking at all the correspondences we have from the SLFA, if you were in our position, we're going to say play or not to play. So these are the dynamics you have to understand the issues.
Again, let me bring on Alex for bit. Alex, you've heard from Eric, who is the head of media at the National Sports Authority, saying that the friendlies were properly coordinated.
Yes, the question we always ask on behalf of the people of this country, the relationship between NSA and SLAFA.
Correct. Cordial.
You see, if that is the case, the three components, NSA from the Ministry of Sport and also SLAFA, everybody is bringing his own view. You know,
so blame game all over the place.
All over the place, the blame game. You know, all your tradition as far as that.
So what led to the blame game? What led to the blame game?
Yeah.
When you say blame game,
this is for you. What led to the blame game?
Yeah, well, I'm not aware of a blame game here. What I know for sure that there is public perception.
According to the ministry, they are not in charge of friendly matches.
Maybe there's misconception of that. Ministry and NSA, we are not in charge of organizing
friendly matches.
Not only friendly matches, but football activities.
Okay.
It is not our responsibility to go and organize football activity. I've told you clearly, our business is to provide the enabling environment. What are these environment? Even the playing environment, if we are playing in Sierra Leone. For example, some of the pitches the local teams are playing for a local premier, they are owned by the government of Sierra Leone. You go to the most, for example. So how do you ensure that that's what is available? You have to come in to ensure that it's given to them. How do you ensure the resources are provided? That's why you come in. But in terms of organizing, who do we play as friendly match? Where do we go? It is not our responsibility directly. Perhaps we can come in and give the necessary advice.
But the regulatory role.
That's what I'm saying.
It supervises everything.
Yeah.
So when you watch, in fact, you're supposed to have played 2 friendly matches, Rwanda and that of the Algerian team. Why Rwanda, not the why the Algerians they are not Rwanda, the pulled up team.
And so that is why I said it's not about blame game, it's about perception, which I agree with the public. I'm also part of that public, by the way, because sometimes people are saying taxpayers' money, I'm also paying tax. So this taxpayer money, all of us seated here, at the end of the day, when they have to pay your salary, you have to deduct tax. So all of us, including myself, I'm also paying tax. So that is why I said, administratively, there are so many things you don't need to come on public to discuss them. I've told you, we received 3 separate correspondences, and the content of those correspondences are clearly there. When we are to play, who we are to play, the venue we are to play. We have them in the black and white. Those are the correspondence we bank on. Like I told you, for all other previous friendly matches we play. This is not the first one. Why is that the previous friendly matches have not been getting this kind of boha? Why this one? So the same channel of communication, the same communication we receive in the past for those friendly matches, we are not exception to this one. So what we did, it's important I speak to this Kabia.
Okay.
Please. So what we did is to follow what happened. I've posed a question to you. What was going to be the reportage of the journalists if the federation have done all of this and they go to NSA, there's no money? They are going to say, but NSA don't let them play for the matches. Next year we'll get double header qualifying matches. If we not qualify at NSA, that's the position. So we did what we are supposed to do. So now the question I'm saying, which you are rightly right, very, very correct. If we had received correspondence, they said 2 matches is black and white. That's why they signed for that we are going to play 2 matches. And based on that, the NSA and the ministry requested from the government and the people of this country to form 2 friendly matches, and then you went to play 1 friendly match in the view of every rightful and thinking leader. Whether you're a journalist or not, the question is, what happened to the other friendly match? What happened to the resources provided for that other friendly match? But those answers cannot be provided on this platform as I sit here. These are administrative challenges you have to take now. That's the point I'm making.
Now, Alex, Parliament has summoned the key players, NSA, SLFA, and the Ministry of Sport. Is it timely?
Of course, yes. But I think what I want to say, Mr. Fumba, the perception of people in this country goes a long way. Because all the time when it comes to football, especially the amount of money government is putting there, I don't think you need to leave Slava in the open. Okay. You need to go very close and see.
I am afraid, gentlemen, we'll have to leave this discussion at that to continue. So in our subsequent programs. Ravi, we've come to the end of the program. What will be your parting shot? Thank you so much, gentlemen. Your parting shot, we've come to the end of the program.
All right, thank you very much for being with us, and we hope to get more updates about this issue.
Thank you, and up next is the podium. Stay tuned to the SMBC.
Drives it lower to the wall.
This is Sports Updates live on SLBC.
From downtown.
Well